Thank you for joining us wherever you are. This podcast episode is brought to you by the Old Ways Actual Play team. This actual play uses the 7th edition Call of Cthulhu tabletop role-playing game rules by Chaos. This actual play is performed by adults and in an adult setting. While we try very hard to stick to language for all ages, listeners should know that this podcast may include mature themes. All content, including names, places, events, companies, and etc., that may bear resemblance to entities living or dead, is strictly coincidental. My name is Michael Diamond, and for tonight's game, I will be your keeper. Thank you for joining us again for another episode of the Old Ways podcast. I am your keeper for the evening, Keeper Michael. I'd like to first start the show by thanking our patrons. Tonight, we have a very special show. To do that, I'll need to introduce you to who will be joining us. So to my right.
Lonnie, be playing Lawrence Edward Oliver Forsyth, and fortunately the rest of the party was sensible this time.
Yeah, we'll see about that. To his right.
I'm Morgan. I play Lillian Lane, and just because I agreed with Lawrence once doesn't mean I'll do it again.
Well, it is written down and recorded, so it has happened.
That's true.
So it can be referred back to later on in case there's a court case. At the end of the table.
This is Jake. I'm playing Jack Doyle, and I think that a sensible thing is a little premature.
Yeah, good man. To his right.
This is James. I'll be playing Dr. Sigmund Tattenbach, and he hopes that everyone errs on the side of caution at least.
You only have so many bandages. To the doctor's right.
This is Tiffany, and I play Maeve O'Shea, and I don't know about this werewolf thing.
Last but most certainly not least.
This is Alex. I'll be playing Simon Gonger. Another night excursion is clearly in order.
And that is where we will begin. So when last we left our investigators, you had decided to make a jaunt out into the evening, as it were. And so what I'd like to get from you is just kind of a rough idea as to how you will leave the Laughing Horse, by which method, and then where you'll end up going.
So in hindsight, I think Doyle and I are going to be both heading out. However, do we know at this point where the wheelwrights is?
You haven't been provided a map of the village here. There isn't, quite frankly, very much to it.
That's what I was at. Like, was the shop visible from where we are when we parked or what have you?
You didn't notice it when you parked. You do have just kind of looking out your window, can see that you think maybe across the street there might be some sort of shop. You're not really sure what kind. And then as you look out the window, you see a couple of houses. You obviously see the church and the vicarage. That's really just about all you can see site-wise. I mean, there are other lights, other houses in the village. You know that. You can see them from your windows. But knowing which one is the short house is hard to tell at this point.
Well, if you two are going to go visit wheelwrights, maybe myself and the ladies could call on the vicar.
At this time of night?
Not at night. I thought we were doing this the next day.
No, they are doing this in the evening.
Oh,
yeah, they're sneaking out.
They are sneaking out. They're bunked together because they're both a bunch of nefarious men. And
Ne'er-do-wells.
That's right, ne'er-do-wells. And so they are going to slip into the evening.
Go exploring the English countryside without a doctor. This will go great.
Exactly.
Do we hear them sneaking out? Like, seriously?
We haven't snuck out yet.
We haven't done anything yet.
Hurry up.
So, I'm trying. How many ways up and down? Is there just like the one stairway that comes up to the second floor?
Oh, yeah, you bet.
Okay. What's the second story situation here?
It's a 2-story English inn. So there's, not a ton around. Probably a direct drop to the ground, as it were. It's a stone building here. It's stone faced anyway. There's window sills and places where you could, if you popped open the window, you could use the window frame as leverage or not leverage, but something to hang on to and then drop down.
Monsieur Doyle, why don't you go out the front door? Do you have a torch? I'll hold up like my flashlight.
Yeah, I do.
Which side of the building is our window facing? Like, is it the same wall as the front door, or is it a different wall?
It's a different wall.
And then you want me to come around and meet you outside?
I will attempt to find the wheelwright, and I will flash you at the door, where you'll be waiting outside the inn with a pipe or a cigarette.
You read my mind.
Yeah, Doyle gets to see me gear up because I'm scared that there might be a giant dogman out there.
So the Desperado montage starts?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. Yeah, I strap on my shotguns.
Jack, what you see here as he rolls out this kit is something that reminds you very quickly and rapidly of the war. So, while not an exact fit to World War I, a lot of what is here seems like not commando packed. Prepare. All these weapons and gear have specific slots and orders and buckles, and it looks pretty serious.
Very nice. I'll look at some of your stuff.
Oh, by all means. Well, I hand them a shotgun and rifle, pistol. They're well maintained.
I have to pick up some more equipment later, but yeah. Very nice. Very nice.
Are rifles legal to carry out in the countryside?
Hunting rifles, yes. Although a rifle specifically is probably going to get you eyed pretty quickly.
Well, what I was thinking was I would give Doyle my rifle to shoulder when he goes outside.
Okay.
I mean, dangerous times, right?
I don't know if I want to hang out in front of the inn holding a rifle.
Very well.
Just saying.
I'll leave the rifle behind then. So yeah, I'll wait for Doyle to leave, and then I will make my way out the window.
Okay, Mr. Doyle, are you being relatively quiet when you leave, or are you just being your own self?
I'm going to be my own self. No reason to act like I'm sneaking.
Sure. So, Miss Lane, you do hear people moving around up here. You're not sure if all of the bedrooms are taken, but you do hear people moving around.
I poke my head out the door. Do I see anything going on?
Yeah, you see Jack walking down the stairs.
Well, I'm taking my camera too.
Does he hear me open the door?
I would imagine so. Well, actually, give me a listen roll, Jack, because the steps you're going down aren't necessarily very quiet.
Nope.
Yes!
No, you don't hear him.
I slip back in the room, and I'm pretty sure I brought a machete with me. I'm already wearing pants and boots and stuff, so...
Are you going to wear a hockey mask too?
Hell yeah, I am. I put the not the blade down, but the handle down of the axe into my boots.
If you are going to make your way out of the window, that is definitely going to be a climb roll.
All right, let's do this. You ready?
I'm ready.
I'm going to fall so hard.
It's going to be amazing. Oh,
and he sticks the landing with a 15 at 40.
You're like a gymnast.
You lift the window. It lifts with ease. No concern there. It's probably a little loose, actually. And you slip out into the night. You see that you're in the side lot of the Laughing Horse Inn. And you basically gracefully just slip down and land on your feet. There's no fuss. There's no concern. Everything is real fluid.
I get low and start looking down the road. If there are lights on in all the buildings, then I'll probably veer well off the road into like the field areas behind the houses.
Sure.
But if there are dark spots, I'll move between them until I can find a shot, basically.
Okay. Yeah. So what we'll do is you move off then into the hedges and whatnot, and then we'll resolve the Lillian and Jake situation.
It's not going to be a situation. I'm going to follow them. Yeah, I'll go down. I'm going to go down the stairs. I'm not going out the window like some gymnast.
Jack, you head down. You get onto the main level. You see there's still a couple of patrons down here. It's got to be past 7:30 now. There's still a couple people milling about. most of the community here is farmers, so you imagine they don't stay up too terribly late.
Not MSI Pass.
Yeah, you see the gentleman that served you your first drink here is behind the bar. He says, down for a nightcap.
No, I'm going to go out and smoke first. Maybe I might be back in a few minutes.
All right, then. He nods and goes back to chatting with the gentleman he has at the bar. You head outside. Where are you headed to first, Mr. Doyle?
Well, I'm going to hang out in the front area so I can see as much of the town as possible before I have to move and light up a cigarette. Wait for my signal.
Okay, fair enough. A couple moments pass. Miss Lane, you hit the ground floor. You see the aforementioned barman and his compatriot. He greets you. Oh, yes, is everything all right? Do you need something?
No, everything's just great. Thanks.
He looks a little quizzically at you. Are you heading out the front door?
Is there any other exits besides the window?
The kitchen.
That would be awkward.
Just slightly.
Can I use your kitchen door? No.
It's already awkward.
Don't mind my machete.
I have an axe, okay, not a machete. Let's,
Oh, that's so much better.
It's a small axe, a hand axe.
A hatchet.
It's a hatchet, yeah. It's in my boot. I'm assuming I'll head out the front door. Is there any window or anything so I can make sure that Jack's not there still?
There are windows at the front of the establishment. If you'd like to make a spot hidden roll, it's going to be you're going to be at disadvantage, so you have to roll it twice here on roll 20. But you'll be at disadvantage because it's dark out there.
60 out of 88 is the higher one.
That's the higher one. You still pass. So there is a figure that you can kind of see through one of the windows. You have to pause just slightly and kind of lean a bit to the right, but you see that there's someone who's about Jack's height standing outside. Looks like they're smoking.
Trying to decide if I'm going to interrupt him or if I'm just going to wait for him to saunter off to wherever the heck he's going, because I still don't know that Simone's going to be with him.
Simone, you've moved off.
Yeah. I'm just looking for the wheelwright and avoiding dogs.
Give me a stealth roll. Jack, you finish your smoke.
29 to 75.
That's a hard success for you. You definitely avoid dogs, and moreover, you know that a couple of the nearby properties here have them. You can hear two houses over milling around. You can tell it's a dog because it yaps just a little. Miss Lane, are you still staying inside or are you heading out?
No, I'll head out. Is Jack still there? He put a cigarette out, right?
He did,
no?
but he's still there.
Shit.
You head out, run right into Doyle, essentially.
I figured I would. I jump a little bit startled, thinking that he had already left.
Give me Miss Lane.
Mr. Doyle, what you doing?
Having a smoke?
Fantastic. You doing anything else?
Why would you ask me something like that? What would I be doing?
Getting into trouble. Because you like to do that.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Well, I've come dressed for the occasion. If you need somebody to get in, to help you get into trouble.
Tell you what, look down that way, I look down this way. Let me know if you see a light flash.
Okay.
Jack, make me a spot roll.
Extreme success.
Sweet goodness.
Miss Lane did not come unprepared.
I mean, she doesn't have a shotgun.
No, well,
But, yeah.
but she is armed. Yeah, you can tell that. What do you keep it in your riding boot, right?
Correct.
Yeah, so she's got this hatchet you've seen her carry before, but she's got it pretty well secured and tucked in, but it's available.
You think that's going to help with a werewolf?
Well, they can't bite you with their head off them, can they?
It's true. That is true.
Maybe they can. I don't know anything about werewolves, but I mean, so why are we looking in different directions?
Waiting for a signal.
So, Simone, you make your way through a couple of the fields. I guess give me a cardinal direction, and that'll give me a better idea about where you're going.
Based on what we were able to see of the town, from the road, from like our higher vantage point and being in here, I'm trying to Are these houses like really scattered? Does there seem to be a centralized place of business, commerce?
Yeah. Actually, you're pretty well in it.
Okay.
So your first couple movements in the direction you go takes you kind of parallel along the main road, not directly, but enough to where you can get a view of it. And you see across the road from the end is what looks to be some sort of general goods store. As you continue on that path, you do run into that house I mentioned that has the dog. You know it's there, so you do get around it. And then beyond the general store, so if you were going north, continuing north from the general store, that is where the church is. You can see the church has lights on and stuff like that.
Church, the end of the town, or is it in this like the center?
It's not. It's so just like judging by the location that you can see with your own eyes here, the church does seem to be mostly centered in the town, but it's a bit north from the main road. It looks like that main road heads back west, and there are a few houses that go west.
Do all these buildings have like the same chimneys?
They're very similarly built.
Is there one that looks like it would be equipped to have a forge, like a more like maybe an iron chimney, or I don't know, a building where things like smelting would be done?
Give me a spot hidden roll, and it's going to be a hard requirement.
No, it's fair.
Okay. You see all around you, a lot of these English cottages or houses look very similar in design. And so from the light you have and from the just general state of things, it's difficult to say what's what. You almost get a little turned around.
I'll get my bearings.
Okay. Yeah, you do the smart thing, you stop. The church really becomes your focal point because it's so big.
Suppose there's any signs about.
No, there are not.
Okay.
You don't think the village is big enough to require them?
Sure. Now the general store has a sign, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So I guess that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for other places that have signs. The place isn't that large, and I'm just trying to, scout the place without anyone really knowing I'm out here.
So other than the inn and the general store and what you know of the church, because obviously you don't need a sign to know it's a church, those are really the only signed buildings here.
Is there an address in the clue?
Not that you remember hearing when it got read or when you read over it. You don't remember there being a specific address. There aren't, just judging visually, there aren't actual proper streets per se. No actual streets or addresses here.
So I have an epiphany. I'm going to head toward the church.
The wind picks up, and so does the storm.
Yeah, I'll slide in.
You slide in?
I have my coat on. So I'm still like walking into a church, strapped. And I'm looking for an attendee of some kind.
You don't see anyone initially.
Do I hear anyone? Is there anything here?
As you're walking up, you can tell that the church itself seems to be fairly well maintained. At least the grounds are. As you enter the church, you see that there is a section where they, keep candles and whatnot for saying prayers. But you don't see any evidence of someone awake.
Like an empty church?
Either that or somebody's asleep.
So I leave.
You get a very unsettling feeling when you walk back out. Make me a listen roll.
97, number 60.
It starts as a bit of a high-pitched noise. And then it kind of rolls around the bottom of your left ear. The pitch goes up and up to almost create a whine where you have to kind of cock your head. Jack, you and Lillian see the sky get really bright for a moment after thunder. And when it gets really bright, you see a singular arc of electric light hit the steeple of the church. So on your ground zero, essentially, for the boom that happens afterwards, you hear the peal of thunder, the crackle that hits, and you can even hear the singe on the veins on top of the steeple.
Like my gut response would be to dive for cover.
You dive for sure.
So is that the signal we were looking for, Jack?
No, that is not the signal we were looking for. I hope not.
You pick yourself up. The rain starts coming down a little harder. Jack and Lillian, why don't you make me listen rolls as well?
Oh, I hear it. Whatever it is.
Not me.
Jack, the lightning and the thunder is pretty close now. The storm is coming through for sure. And you kind of tuck yourself a bit back just to keep yourself from getting too drenched. In the after effects, the after echoes of this rumble as it churns its way around the villages and then the surrounding hills, Lillian, you hear on the air, high on the air, this... It starts out as a whine, almost like a dog that needs to be let out the back door. And it grows into a singular, long howl. And you feel all the hair on the back of your neck stand on edge.
I shiver a little bit, and I turn back to Jack and... Hey, Jack, did you hear that?
The lightning? Yeah, I heard that. Right there. How could I not hear it?
I don't mean the lightning, but what came after. It sounded like a howl.
How? You sure your nerves aren't playing tricks on you?
It could be, but... Mike, do I know which way the howl came from?
No, it's very difficult to tell which way it came from.
How long have we been waiting for this signal from this mysterious person, otherwise known as Simone?
Probably 10 minutes.
Jack, do you think we should go find whoever you're waiting for?
Well, I don't know where he is. So I don't know where we go look for him. That was the reason for the signal, is to let me know when he finds where he's looking for.
Apparently he has gone adventuring by himself.
I'm making my way back to the inn, by the way.
Okay.
Just may take a few minutes. Oh, and I make a request while you're looking for the light. If you see a large, shaggy figure with teeth and claws, let me know as well.
I figure I would start running, and then you will know. Is that cool? I mean, is that okay?
That's fair. That's fair.
Okay.
You guys are talking outside and kind of going back and forth a bit, and it's at that point, over Lillian's shoulder, Jack, you see Simone coming back.
I'm still not necessarily trying to be spotted, so I'll get to the corner of the building, like the wall that I came down. I'll flash a light down toward the front door.
Okay.
Oh, there's our signal.
Then I'll see Lily, and then I'll shake my head. Just kind of keep my back to the wall.
I turn and look to where Jack is looking at.
I mean, there's someone moving closer.
All right, I head that way.
It was not necessarily easy to determine which one of these houses belongs to Monsieur Short.
I guess we'll have to get up tomorrow and do a thorough investigation of the village. Slane here says she heard a howl. Did you hear a howl?
Pardon?
Howl, like a wolf howl.
An owl? An owl? Oh, it's like an owl, like woo.
No, not owl as in woo. Howl as, you know what? Don't worry about it. Did you hear either of them?
So I'll see you upstairs.
You gonna walk upstairs?
You don't want to climb in the window?
I'm taking my window back up.
You get back upstairs into your rooms unmolested. The barkeep gives you a quick nod as you head back up.
Coming in.
It's getting a little bit noisy about there, huh? Rain's coming down?
Yeah, it's howling out there.
I give Jack a look.
Like he stops wiping down the bar. He gives you a look. Really?
Yeah, I mean, it's storm brewing.
I wink at the bartender as I walk by.
I'm actually going to have a drink and talk to the bartender for a little bit.
Miss Lane goes upstairs and heads to bed. Jack, you sit down at the bar. You're the only one here.
I'm sorry, am I keeping you up, or you're going to be up for a little bit?
I'm just getting to just settle everything down.
Can I ask you a couple questions?
Sure.
How many wolves in this area?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, we don't really get a whole lot of wolves. We mostly get stray dogs and sheep dogs and those sorts of things. And then, of course, there's the black dogs.
Black dogs?
Sure. I mean, you're not from here, so you probably don't know those stories.
No, I don't.
Well, let me tell you something. There's a local legend. It goes back hundreds of years. Stories say that they're spirits or they're lost dogs that were once family dogs, and those family dogs had gone away. These black dogs are sinister. I think that it's all a bunch of codswallop. It's just old rumors and legends people tie themselves to. But they say that they come around and they bark at people or they bite people. Or when I was growing up here, old lady Kessler said that black dogs meant death. And if anybody saw one, they would die within a week. And of course, it's not true. He pours you a bit of whiskey.
It's funny, my ma used to tell me stories about black dogs from the old country.
Yeah.
Harbingers of ill omen, they said.
Sure, but these are just legends. That's all they are. Tumwell probably shot some sheepdog from 2 towns over that got into a few things, and maybe it was rabbit, or who knows. But we haven't seen the thing in months, so.
I mean, I'm sure it's nothing, but it is an interesting story, right?
Well, it's brought you all the way out here.
Yeah, we look into interesting stories from this village or town.
Yeah, the whole life.
You know much of its history?
Sure.
Anything interesting? Is there an interesting history here?
Well, there is one family here in town that is, you could say, interesting. The Vanes. Lord Arthur Vane and his family have lived in Plum Castle for generations. He's an Oxford man, you understand. Older, getting on, but he's got his son, Lawrence. Oh, and his daughter, Eloise. They're about as close to royalty as we get here. Lord Vane. Well, he doesn't come much out of the castle anymore. He had to go to London, whatnot, during the war, and some of the time served didn't do him very well.
I understand that.
Oh, did you serve?
Yes, I did. Over in France.
Well, he sets a second glass up and pours himself a drink. Well, here's to you.
Much obliged.
Oh, but yeah, I mean, as far as local legends, and there's Mantour, there's the hills and whatnot that are close by. They attract all sorts of travelers, and you should go check it out. Mantour's, it's not too far.
I think I might. What's the local legend about that?
Oh, well.
It's always a local legend.
Well, they say, listen, I've heard this for years, but they say that there was a old abandoned mine there, covered up by rocks years ago, and that fairies and whatnot like to play there at night. And if you listen hard, you can hear them whisper their secrets to you.
Interesting. So I will definitely have to get a tour out there. A little walk.
I'd suggest you take a walking stick. It's a bit of a hike. He wipes the bar one more time. Well, yeah.
Thank you for the conversation and the drink.
Of course, and you are?
Doyle, Jack Doyle.
He extends his hand. Michael Cromwell, proprietor.
Well, it's a lovely establishment you have here.
The wife keeps it that way. I just do the best to keep the bar.
You do an excellent job, and same to your wife.
Gives you a nod. I'll see you in the morning for breakfast.
Sir, I head upstairs.
Head upstairs. And night falls on all of our investigators. And just like that, moments later, morning arrives. As I hold within my hands the power of both the sun and the moon. So breakfast is roughly about 7-ish here at the Laughing Horse. It is everything you could possibly want if you like an English breakfast. So there are fresh sausages, eggs, breads, cheeses, beans, all manner of things that you could get into. Alice seems to cook for an army which hasn't arrived yet. And so there are definitely opportunities for everybody. You're all at the breakfast table, which is really just a couple of circular tables put together because you're the only folks staying here.
I'm eating quite healthily.
I talked to the barkeep last night.
What did you have to say, Jack?
Well, we talked a little bit about local legend of the black dog.
Which is?
Mike, can I get a cult roll on black dogs?
Yeah, absolutely.
Can I take it too?
Of course.
That is an 8 under 35, hard success.
Ooh.
17 out of 83.
So the both of you, when he says black dog, remember the legend of a Barghest, a mythical, monstrous black dog with big teeth. And there are legends in northern England of these massive dogs being an omen of death, and that if somebody notable passes, meaning somebody dies, it is sometimes a Barghest will appear.
Do you believe that this is what we are looking for?
Not necessarily. You're going to find this particular table all over the isles here. My mom used to tell me about stories about it when I was young.
Yeah, I don't know if I know anything about them attacking anyone, though.
I think it kind of depends. Some of them, I think maybe not. Who knows? It is interesting that they'd have dog attacks, as it were.
Yeah, but you can call a wolf attack a dog attack. Plus, the way that the injuries were described, I don't think we're dealing with a dog. I mean, a normal. You know what I'm saying?
No, I agree. It's absolutely abnormal.
Maeve, why don't you make me a spot head roll?
1 out of 68.
Ooh. You did not get any better than that. Okay, a couple of things. You realize that the bar here is a little bit more than it seems, like as you're kind of going through breakfast and you're talking back and forth with Sigmund and Jack. And you also realize that behind the bar there is a string, which on it there are several herbs. Now, you probably thought nothing of it. It's very common to dry herbs where you have a spot. There probably isn't a ton of room in the kitchen. And so you probably just passed over it last night and didn't think anything of it. But as you are looking at it a little closer in these dried herbs, these dried plants that are drying, you see curved purple flowers, something that is synonymous with wolfsbane.
Yeah, I'm going to point out to Sigmund the wolfsbane.
Interesting. Definitely not for medicinal purposes.
No, you both know, given your relative knowledge, that if
It's
that
poison.
is actual wolfsbane, it's poison, yeah.
Do you think it grows wild out here?
I would imagine so.
And why would a place that serves food keep poison?
Mike, with my hard success on the occult, do I know that wolfsbane is usually to repel lycanthropes?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I would probably know that too, but
You probably
I
would.
think it is most likely a ward to keep them away.
yeah, but then you're saying that they willingly know that that's what's going on and not a dog attack.
It is one thing to know. It is another thing to believe.
Yeah. Is the bartender behind the bar?
No, you haven't seen him today. You've seen Alice.
Oh, is she up by the bar?
She's coming in and out, so she's getting plates for you. It's not like there's a buffet sitting here. She's having to,
Right.
work the six of you.
There's a buffet.
No,
Okay,
there's
well,
no buffet.
I'm gonna go walk up towards like where she's coming in and out and stop her a moment.
Yes, dear.
Excuse me, are those your dried herbs?
She turns around. Oh yeah, we just put them there. I like the color. She smiles.
And so you're saying it grows wild out here?
Yeah. Up on the Mount Tor there, it grows the whole way up.
Do you know what particular plant that is?
Oh, sure, it's wolfsbane. She winks at you.
Yeah. So it's a good idea to have some.
Oh, if you want to be protected from wolves. She gives you like a joking smile. I just can't keep it for the color. I love purple.
Can I figure out if she's kind of dodging the question?
You can roll psychology.
Okay, I have a little bit. No, 85 out of 10.
You're fairly certain that she's being pretty straight with you.
Okay.
She doesn't seem to be dodgy in any way. She likely just keeps it above the bar because, well, it looks pretty.
And I will tell her thank you and go back to the table.
Yes, enjoy your breakfast. You guys get all, fattened up, but continue, please.
So apparently it grows wild out here.
Well, if it actually does repel werewolves, that is fortuitous for us.
Yeah? I mean, I don't know that we know anybody who's actually tested that theory. And if we do, would they even tell us?
I do not think this is the sort of theory that one tests.
Well, I think we're going to end up testing it, right?
It either works or it doesn't.
Looking around this inn, does this seem to be a place that would have materials? If I wanted to find a place that had maps or any other places of information about Edale?
No, that's probably the general store across the street.
Okay. So after we wrap up breakfast, I'll look at my watch, looking at the table. We'll say, need to purchase some things in the town. If you want to meet me, I'll be heading to the church around, say, noon.
Okay, very good.
Au revoir. I'll tip my hat and just kind of shuffle out.
You head across the street.
Yep.
You step into a general store. So a small retail spot, counter, all sorts of different tools, groceries. So you get, provisions. They have a pretty wide range here. Newspapers, whatnot.
Okay. Yeah, I'll try to put together a little visitor's package for myself.
Yeah, it's not hard. Pretty simple. You even get a map of a topographical map of the surrounding area. It looks like they sell them for folks who are going to Mamtor.
And is there a local map?
There doesn't seem to be. I mean, there's a guy behind the counter you could ask if you wanted.
Right. I'll bring myself up to the counter.
Will that be it?
Perhaps. I am part of an investigator team that is going to be spending some time in the town, and we were looking for resources, people, or information we could use to aid in our research.
Investigative team. He looks a little puzzled. You're not one of those fellows from the Times.
Oh, like a journalist? No. No, we are merely representing some interested parties. There have been some reports of injuries in the area, and we are simply here to make sure that the incidents are no longer occurring.
Injuries. You must be talking about what happened to Osgood and whatnot, huh?
It is possible that these incidents are linked. Just one of the reasons we are here.
Well, Constable's taking care of all that. I'm sure it's all for nothing, but he kind of looks over what you've picked through. Looks like you're ready for a walk, though.
One of the responsibilities of our job is to make sure that we survey the areas very thoroughly.
Sure. Well, it's a beautiful country for you to see while you're here.
Yes, we've been stuck in it at least twice.
Yes, these roads. They'll never get them right.
I do not suppose you have access to a map of the town, the roads, the distribution of houses and businesses.
Oh, a town map. Well, there's not much to it. So if you head out here, he points to the door, and you head down the way, he points right. You'll see the church. You can't miss it. But yeah, there's really just a left and right road there. If you head to the left, where it forks, you could take it all the way out to Osgood. If you stay right, we go past the church and eventually to Castle Plum, the Vane's place. But you probably should phone ahead if you're going to see the Lord.
There were a couple of people that we were hoping to talk to, or next of kin. I believe I'll take my notebook out. I believe one of them was involving the daughter of one John Perkins. Tragic tale.
If you want information on that, he kind of collects your things, and your best bet is to speak with Constable Tumwell. He's probably making his morning rounds now. He can give you all the information. I mean, they had people up from police here look into it, and Tumwell knows all about that. So that'd be your best bet. I mean, it's a quiet village, and it's a wonderful place for visitors, and we just want to make sure everybody understands that.
Please make no mistake, monsieur. We are not here to cause any discomfort or cause a stir in your town. There are maybe some people that are curious about what has happened here, but for the majority of our work, we are researchers.
Well, I would just say the constable will be your best bet. Everybody else who's at breakfast, what are you up to?
I assume that we're going to be figuring out where we're going today, and if we're going as one group or are we splitting up?
So where do we have to stop today? Like what places?
Well, we wanted to go to the Vickers. We wanted to swing out by the farm where the attacks happened. We wanted to maybe go see the wheelwrights place. I mean, you can't get in it, but, you know.
Well, if we split up, we'll cover more ground. On the other hand, fewer people, the more we may miss when we're somewhere.
How long ago did the attack happen?
It happened May 13th, 1924. It happened on May 13th.
So it happened last year, the attacks?
Correct.
Yeah.
So why are we going to the attack site? Yeah, there's going to be no evidence, no anything out there.
Because if it is somebody related or that knows them or is them, there will be evidence. Maybe a den. There's all kinds of things you can figure out, even though it's been a while. It's not like the creature's gone away.
And you guys learned last night that, or what from you heard from the gentleman at the bar, the Perkins family is still around, and so are the Osgoods. So there are people to talk to.
Right, but at the attack site, are there any houses or anything right there, or was it out in the? I can't remember where.
No, it was at the Osgoods, and
I'm just saying, physical evidence-wise of an attack, there will be nothing.
2 attacks with the Osgoods.
yes, 2 attacks. Mm-hmm.
We can talk to the people, but there will probably. I can't imagine there'll be physical evidence, but.
Well, no, not of that particular attack, but there may be evidence of a large animal roaming around,
Right.
dead animals, how much wolfsbane they're planting, all kinds of stuff.
I just want to make sure we're not expecting to find something where an attack actually took place, like from the article, because that would be very unrealistic of us. So we're going to go to the Vickers, the places where the attack happened, and then the wheelwrights. Is that correct?
Yes. Now the question is, do we all go as one group or do we split up?
I think we should split up in pairs. That's 3 places, 2 people apiece.
Let's you and I go to the Vicar.
Alrighty. Oh my God, we're going somewhere together.
Yes, we are. And I figured the Vicar would be best because you need Jesus.
Come now, Miss Lane's a modern woman. She doesn't need Jesus.
According to Forsyth.
That's right. Okay, so that means that someone's going to head to the farm, the Osgood farm, and that also means that someone is going to end up going to. Well, we have to cover the Perkins house. So who's going there?
I will go to the Perkins house.
I can go to the farm by myself.
I think Maeve wanted to go to the farm too, right, Maeve?
Well, I want to go to the Osgoods since 2 attacks happened there. How close are the Perkins and the Osgoods?
Like within 50 yards of each other?
Oh, well, then 4 of us could go because they're like not very far apart.
You know, we're going to meet Simone at the church at noon.
He needs Jesus
At
too.
the Vicar's.
He's got Jesus.
In the trunk.
Oh, no.
Then we can all go out to these 2 farms that are right next to each other and then meet Simone at noon.
Fair enough.
Hey, we can. I just don't want to overwhelm these people with 5 strangers walking up and asking them questions and poking around their houses outside.
Okay.
I feel like people would talk more and be more open if there's, again, 5 strangers not standing there staring at them.
Well, I just don't think it makes sense to go to the church twice, is basically my point.
Where's Simone?
He went to go get some things, he said.
Well, he was going to do some stuff, so he's like, well, why don't we meet up at the church at noon?
All right, let's all go to the farms.
I tell you what, why don't you guys go to the farms, and I want to take a walk out to this tour they told me about.
Oh, pick up some wolfsbane while you're out there, because apparently it grows all over there.
Okay, what exactly does wolfsbane look like?
It's the flowers that were hanging over the bar.
There's a lot of flowers hanging over the bar.
The purple ones.
Okay.
If you eat it and it makes you sick, it's probably wolfsbane. Just an FYI.
That is a good idea.
Yeah, just nibble on it, just a little.
So, Jack, you head out. You know it's going to be a little bit of a walk. You can't miss it, but it's going to be a bit of a walk to get there.
I take a walking stick.
That's right. You take a walking stick. The rest of you head to. Are you heading to the Osgoods first, or are you going to go to the Parkins house?
Which one's closer to the church?
Both like right next to each other.
You're fairly close. You'll end up walking past the Parkins house to get to the Osgood farm.
So we might as well go to their place first.
For the time between basically when I left for breakfast and noon, I'm just going to be making a map.
You're going to map the village?
Well, yeah. I mean, it's in my skill set.
It is, quite literally.
Yeah, I scout around. I make note of noteworthy places. I familiarize myself with, layout and purpose of various structures.
I will send you a handout in a little bit.
All right, cool.
Okay. The 4 of you walk up to what appears to be an English cottage of sorts. It's just down the road from the inn itself. Not too terribly far. Has nice shrubs, pretty well maintained. There's a sign that says Parkins House, but you do just kind of by way of dowsing and then eventually locate the front door and the walk up.
Not the talker, so I'm not going to walk up and start talking.
It's totally your party.
How is it my party? I'm never the talker.
I was going to go to church. I'm here to watch. Maybe Sigmund.
If that is the will of the group, then that is the way it will work.
It's the will.
Okay. So, Sigmund, you approach the house and you see that the house, at least at the nearest the road, as you get deeper and deeper towards the house, you begin to pick up small, not imperfections, but things are just a little bit off here. there are some things that have not been put away, or there's a pair of shoes, a pair of muddy shoes that are on the porch here that look like they've been here for a little while. The mailbox here doesn't look like it's been answered in a few weeks, maybe.
I don't know if anyone is home.
Do you notice anything out of the ordinary in, like, the yard?
Not terribly out of the ordinary, no.
Does it look abandoned?
No, it doesn't look abandoned.
Did you knock on the door, Doctor?
No, I was more taking in the front yard, but I will now.
Okay. I was just wondering. I didn't know if nobody answered.
You knock on the door. After a minute or so, you see a gentleman, probably in his late 40s, come to the door. He's got graying hair at the temples. He looks a bit thin. He's dressed in a pair of what look like just working attire. Looks like he has some sort of wrench in his hand, like he was working on something. I help you.
Guten Tag, Herr Parkins. My name is Dr. Sigmund Tattenbach. These are my associates. We would like to ask you a few questions as to what happened with the attack last year.
He kind of looks over the group, as it were, steps outside, closes the door. Now, I don't know what you're on about, what news or something for the paper or whatnot, but...
Neither. It is a private investigation.
Private. Well, what do you want to know?
Sigmund looks to the rest of the group.
Which people were attacked outside their residence?
Their daughter.
Oh, and she did not survive.
Correct.
Because it was only a Harold that survived. Okay.
Did you happen to see the dog that was on your property?
He twitches a little bit, like his mouth twitches, and he grits his teeth. It weren't no dog. I did this to my daughter. But no, I didn't see it. I only saw what it left.
And what makes you think that it wasn't a dog?
Because
I'm not saying that you're wrong. I actually believe you're 100% correct. I just am trying to get perspective, so I do not mean to offend.
Yeah, he nearly uncorks in front of you, and he kind of bites back his words a little bit. I have raised dogs all my life. I know what it like when a dog goes wrong. I know what it looks like. And that weren't no dog that did that to her.
Do you have any other large wild animals in the area?
No.
I didn't think so.
Sheep are plentiful here because there are very few predators. You might get a dog that gets nippy a bit, but we don't have any dogs around here that like that. And I don't believe the police's story.
Well, I'm sure that they said that so that people would feel safe again.
No. I'm sorry. I don't mean to get so upset about it.
Oh, it's completely understandable.
They're doing it because they want to protect the man on the hill.
The Lord?
Lord Arthur Vane.
Why would it protect him?
I don't assume you know our politics.
No.
Well, let's just say that he's a member of the House of Lords. And so he's got word down in London. Title, right. And so the police come here and they scrub clean the real story of whatever's going on because they don't want the papers writing about it. And Lord Vane doesn't want Edale to be anything more than a blissful countryside retreat. Why don't you give me a psychology roll?
Don't do good at that. That's Sigmund's thing. Okay.
Oh, I mean, anybody who's standing there could read his...
58 under 75.
It's actually probably easier if you're a third party to the conversation to read.
That's part of why I stopped talking.
86 out of 10. Woohoo!
Okay, so Sigmund, you can tell that John Parkins is ready to come unglued. He's so mad about what happened.
Mr. Parkins, our investigation into this, we hope, will bring some closure to you and your family.
I'll tell you this much. If I had a finger to point, and I've got 10 of them, I'd put it right on Lawrence Vane, Arthur's son. I know he had something to do with it.
Why?
Tom Corty, you probably saw him, tall man. He's a neighbor. He points across his shoulder. He saw Lawrence Vane the night Lydia was murdered. He told me that he saw Lawrence looked a bit upset, and he was hurrying from the direction of this house. Right over there. He kind of steps out a bit and points between the yard spaces, between the Osgood farm, which you can see is further down the lane, and then Parkin's property. Now, I know Cordy's a man to drink occasionally at the bar, but if he tells me that he swears he sees Lawrence Vane hustling from that area, upset, the night they find my Lydia dead, and there is something to that. Did the police do anything about it? No, they swept it under the fucking rug.
What time would you say that Lawrence was seen running from here?
Cordy said it was the middle of the night. The middle of the night to him could be 9 o'clock. He's a farmer. He goes to bed early.
Did anything else strange happen that day?
To truth be told, nothing that's as important as losing my daughter.
It was understandable.
Mr. Parkins, I'm really sorry for your loss. Is it okay if we ask you a couple more questions?
Just a few.
The day that Lydia was killed, was that night a full moon?
I'm fairly certain it was, but I don't believe in any of that Codswallop story about raving animals.
Sure. No, of course. Also, before and after the days of your daughter's death, was there any additional animal kills, cattle kills, randomly happen?
Nothing I can remember. I mean, I think Colt's lost a sheep or something like that, but I don't remember anything significant. Coming home and finding her body was the worst day of my life.
I can only imagine. And we do appreciate you answering our questions. I'm sure it's hard. As the doctor said, we're here to try to bring closure to your daughter's case. And we apologize if we reopen the wounds.
Miss Lane, why don't you give me a charm roll?
And that's why I said I'm not the talker.
32 out of 65.
Yeah, but she never wants to talk.
He seems to calm a bit, and he kind of gets this resolved look on his face, and I hope you get to the bottom of whatever you get to.
I put my hand on his shoulder. And, yeah, tell him I hope so too. We will keep you informed.
Now, if there's nothing else, I've got to get back to it.
Of course.
Thank you.
And you're going to head to the Osgood farm, yes?
Yes.
What was his neighbor's name, by the way, again?
So the neighbor's name that he gave you was Tom Cordy.
We may want to talk to him at some point.
Or did we already talk to him at the bar? Was that
Oh, is
him?
that the lanky dude?
Yep.
Did he give his name? I apologize. I must have missed that part. Or
Yeah, he told you who he was.
okay. Cool. Never mind. We don't need to talk to him.
So I'm going to draw the session to a close. We're about at time. So we will bring everything under wraps for this session as we continue our investigation and what may befall our investigators as they continue to search for the truth. So thank you so much for joining us.